Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Tonight's video is all about meatless meals and seasonal eating. I feature some of the things that we picked up recently from a local farmer and 2 favorite meals made without meat. So thanks for stopping by. Every soup that I make starts with a big stock pot full of chicken broth. And if I let it go longer, or chicken stock, if I let it go longer, it will be bone broth. So I'm making a black bean soup this time. So I have a chicken carcass, I have about 8 cups of water, 2 carrots, some onions, salt, pepper, and then I've let this be on between a simmer and I don't know, I don't ever boil it because your stock or your broth will go cloudy, so I want a nice clear. I want to be able to see through it. Now this is a little bit cloudy because I added in some chicken stock from some chicken that I had the other night that I baked up, so then it had some stock and juices in the chicken bowl, and I added it to this. So I suppose the olive oil or whatever might be making this slightly cloudy, but I wanted to add that in because it had some good flavor. So right now this has been going for about 4 hours. It looks really good, smells really good. I'll add a little bit of parsley. Everything's fresh, so fresh onions, fresh carrots, fresh parsley, fresh chive, then the chicken carcass, 8 cups of water, salt and pepper, whatever other seasonings you might like. At the end I add a little bit of turmeric for inflammation. And I'm not going to be making bone broth, so this isn't going to go on for 8 or 10 or 12 or 20 hours. I'm just making some broth or stock for the black bean soup. Got some carrots. I've got some black beans I'll show you here in the clip later. I've also got some frozen vegetables that I want to get used up. I'm not going to be processing any vegetables from farm stands or CSA this year or anything like that. We didn't join a CSA, though we are buying things from a local farmer. I'm just mainly keeping that freezer for meat, so I don't want to overload it with other things and then not have room. If meat goes on special or the prices go lower and we want to get a little ahead in that, I want to keep that open for meat. So I've got about 4 bags of frozen vegetables to use up, so that's going to go in the black bean soup. And so that's what's on the menu. I'll probably have it ready by Friday, so I'll just keep adding clips as I go. This recipe and video for black bean soup is already on my channel, so this is just going to be added in with other food clips and cooking for my channel. Okay, these are the black beans that I picked up at Aldi. So I'm going to be using those in the black bean soup, some tomato paste, and then 2 cans of diced tomatoes. And I was able to pick up 3 or 4 containers of strawberries. I think altogether it was 2 pounds of strawberries the other day for, it was $5.99 a pound. They're quite expensive this year. Locally, they're $6.19, $6.99, and they were $7.29. So figured I got a pretty good deal from a local farm stand. So I went ahead and bought them, and now I'm making some jam. I'm making 3 pints, so a small batch of strawberry jam. To go with the black bean soup, I'm making some focaccia bread. I just use Rhodes dinner rolls. In this particular glass pan, I put, oh gosh, let's see, 8. I think I put 30 of them, 24 or 30. And then I just let it rise, and then I make all the little holes in it. I like to have, or my husband and I both like to have oregano sprinkled versus rosemary or anything else. So I do the olive oil and then the oregano. And then I'll let it rise somewhat again, and then I'll pop it in the oven for, takes about 25 minutes, and then it's done. Okay, my husband is ready for his soup. I would say because I only used 1 can of black beans in this, that's all I had. But it's kind of more like a minestrone, which I grew up on and really love. But unfortunately, it's got some ingredients in there that I'm not going to be able to eat this time. But yeah, this is easy soup, very inexpensive. You're talking about maybe a 30-some cent can of tomato paste. Well, it was when I bought it about 3 months ago on rollback. And you're talking about diced tomatoes, a couple of carrots, a bag of frozen vegetables, and the can of black beans was $1.88. So, and then the chicken I had anyways, so I made the chicken broth from that. So really, with the chicken that we had, the roasted chicken, which I got 3 meals out of, and then I turned around and made broth out of it, which I got enough soup to make him some soup now and freeze about 3 bowls. And then these are these Rhodes rolls that I make into focaccia bread that turn out to be like a tearaway type bread. And look at that, how beautiful that is. And then you just warm it up and put a little butter on it and eat it with your soup. And here is the beginning of my ratatouille. So I've got some eggplant, and I have the bok choy in the bottom, and the pea sprouts on top. And then next, I'll boil the carrots. I've got a little broccoli that I'm going to steam, and then I'm going to add to it. I've got asparagus, but we're going to have that on the side with a scallion, with a fried scallion. I will eat asparagus with a fried scallion, just a little bit, to flavor it a little bit. And then what else do I have? Oh, and then to add to this, I have zucchini. And then I will also add in a can of diced tomatoes. I feel the diced tomatoes work better than trying to peel and chop and dice, tomatoes out of the grocery store. So I use a can of diced tomatoes. And there's my zucchini and summer squash, the eggplant, and the bok choy, and the pea shoots are done for right now. And of course I have the broccoli going and the carrots still. Okay, now I'm going to add the petite diced tomatoes. Stir that in through all of the veggies. And here is the finished product. So a little bit of everything. Summer squash, zucchini, bok choy, broccoli, pea sprouts, carrots, diced tomatoes, chives, onions, scallions, and then a little bit of tomato paste to thicken up the sauce. And then, so now this is cooked in that, and then we will be making up some rice, and putting it over the top of rice, and having a little bit more of that focaccia bread that I made the other night. So 2 meatless meals this week, and I think that I'm going to try to make 3 this next coming week. So whatever that third dish is, I'll make sure I make a video of it. Okay, I went ahead and looked at our local farmer's website and found some late spring items that she has for sale. These are some pearl onions that they just dug up the other day. It's an all-organic farm located about 20 minutes from us, and I thought these looked wonderful. I'm making 2 meatless meals this weekend, and so I thought I would add these to the black bean soup. So I'll probably add 1 to the black bean soup, 1 to the other meatless meal. I think that's just going to be ratatouille, and then I'm going to preserve the rest. And what I do is just use ice cube trays that are used exclusively for onions, dice them up, have some water to fill up the top of each ice cube tray section, and then I just freeze. And then pop out, put in a plastic bag, and use as needed. And some fresh dill, $1 for a bunch. Wasn't sure what I was going to use this in. I'm looking for a recipe, but I've got a couple of days to figure it out. So I was going to make some pickles, but there really isn't any pickling cucumbers at the farm stands. Sometimes there is. They bring up vegetables from down south and that, but there isn't right now. So I'll look for a recipe where I can chop up some fresh dill. May add it if it works with the ratatouille. I don't know if it would work with the black bean soup, but if it does, I'll let you know. I also ordered some beautiful bok choy that I'm going to be chopping up in the ratatouille. So looks like the bugs outside got to the leaves, but that's okay. I just take from here all the way down. So that's okay. We'll have plenty of leafy greens in both of the soups, or fresh greens in both of the soups, so I can do without that. So yeah, those were $3, so 2 for $3. And then we've got some microgreens. Those are pea shoots. I'm just going to take some of them and put them in the black bean soup, and then save some of them for just eating fresh with some lettuce for lunch on Saturday. And then the rest will go probably just put on top of the ratatouille that I'm making for Sunday. So I've got a lot of volunteering to do this week. I've got to go almost 14 hours on Saturday, and then right away by noon on Sunday. So it's a busy weekend, a Father's Day weekend. So I've got some meals that I'm making in advance for hubby, and then I'll be home by supper time on Sunday afternoon, be able to spend the rest of the evening with him. So we're looking forward to eating some of these fresh microgreens. And then we picked up some garlic scape. I'm going to make some garlic pesto with that. That was $2. The pea shoots of the microgreens were also $2. If I didn't mention that, I'll have the prices in the description. And then we have 3/4 of a pound of mixed greens. I had just a little bit of lettuce left, so I thought I would order some of these, and they were $4 for 3/4 of a pound.